two trades that I took, and the problems that end up happening, and a few things. Okay, going into the day, the bias is pretty simple. We are coming out of this 4-hour fair value gap. We are having a nice displacement to the upside, proper shift in structure. We had this 1-hour fair value gap, inside which I thought if we respect it, we'll displace higher. Disrespect it, we'll displace lower. So as you can see, here we are already been a little bit in chop. So that's external type of thing. So in the 5-minute time frame, we entered into this in the 5-minute time frame, and I would like to see an internal sweep, but we started forming divergences. So as divergence form, my idea was to see some form of level get broken, so I can consider myself go push to the upside. Okay, we are waiting, we started a little bit of chop. Then we also started having a multiple divergence. That means we had divergence at the below, and we had started having divergence at the top. Okay, but after some time we end up breaking through this high, which I was looking to see that we should see some form of level get broken to consider the divergence, that there is divergence is formed. On the based on, I can took some trade. Okay, so once we broke through that, by this time we end up forming a 5-minute fair value gap. So my idea was that if we respect this, I can look to see go push to the upside. As you can see, what exactly end up happening. But what is the problem here is that by the time we were coming lower, we had another divergence. Okay, we had another divergence, bearish divergence. Now my idea is to see if we can. So this is when exactly I started having the false idea. Okay, what ended up happening is we came lower, we respected this perfectly. We came lower, we swept internal, we had this massive displacement to the upside, we had volume. Okay, we had footprint chart, the heavy buying imbalances, and as well as we had a POC break. So pretty much the model is completely in there, but I didn't took this trade. I completely like ignored this idea, or maybe this was the problem with my understanding today, that when I can consider there is a divergence, I can only consider there is a divergence. Let's say this is an level, we go in there, and I am seeing that delta, let's say something like this. Let's say the delta is also, now the delta has taken this, but the price has not. Okay, I can only consider there will be divergence when price can break through some form of level. If that level is broken, then I can consider there is a valid divergence. Until that happens, I cannot consider this one as divergence. Now the problem with this one is, how am I supposed to put it in, that the problem with this one is, this particular scenario today is we was not able to broke through that range. As you can see, in this case we had to break through that 5-minute fair value gap. We did not broke through that fair value gap. We formed our model and showed that this was getting respected rather than getting broke. So that means there was no divergence. The bearish divergence that I was seeing was not formed there, and we end up going higher. Now my idea was that I had to take that as this formed, as this model form out. My idea is too simple, that how have I how I had I should have thought is, we have the 5-minute, I'm waiting either my model form to consider this one is respecting, or 5-minute close through that disrespecting. Simple as that. There is nothing. Model formed, it's respecting. Now I should have had take the trade, let's say out of this here, and definitely I'm gonna put my stop here. Now this would not be a winning trade, absolutely. 2 to 2.5 was my first tip would be this high, right? We not end up going up here, but this absolutely would be a break-even trade, right? By this time when you're pushing higher, I'm pretty much break-even into this trade. So this one would be a break-even trade, but we end up having two consistent losses one after another. I'm coming into it. So this is how I should have thought in this specific scenario, which I first uh, did not take this trade. Second, I saw there is this propulsion block. Into this propulsion block, this is when it started coming into the problem of positioning. First one was the problem of understanding that it formed in front of my eyes, but I was not able to understand it. So that was the understanding problem. Here comes the positioning problem. Second, I saw this fair value gap. We still had chance to take this trade if I just had take the trade out of this propulsion block. And I have already told, whenever you're taking propulsion block trades, you should always, put your stop below the propulsion block, because the propulsion block should not get through the 50% level. In this case, as you can see, it did not. Okay, this is an instant push to the upside. So I was waiting to see this propulsion block get respected or not. So what ended up happening? That's not a bad thing. Okay, you can sometimes wait to see. There's a propulsion block doesn't always mean that this level will work. But so this is why exactly I waited to see if I'm getting any sort of if I'm getting any sort of respectance or not. By this time we end up having this huge push to the upside, and as I took this trade, after I see this, I end up having my position around here. So my stop had to be this low. So look at this. This is not a worth risk to reward. So before taking the trade, I had to check that am I getting the perfect risk to reward or not. So here I broke that rule. I actually was not seeing, that's why I broke it, that I am not getting 2R or above it. So if I'm not getting 2R or above it, it doesn't make any sense for me to take this trade. Doesn't matter how good it looked. Okay, I don't wanna risk my capital, because until I'm getting an 2R on what I'm actually investing, it doesn't make any sense for me to lose that amount, because it's based on probability. I can still lose. So I knew that if I lose into this trade, that's okay, but if I win, I could have make more than 2R on 2x on whatever I'm investing, whatever I am investing in. Okay, so uh, this was the positioning problem. Later when and this was another problem. Okay, 3 consecutive problem. This was also inside the positioning problem. I was into this trade around here. My stop was below this low. Now we never came sweep that low. Okay, we never came back. So we never tapped into our stop loss. What I did, that I closed the position when we were around here. So here what I would like to say, that when we are already so low, it doesn't make any sense for me to close this trade. So this is, and sometimes in some trades, you in like when you are into trade, there is some moment, like if price turns against you during that moment, you just have to accept your losses. So this is one kind of scenario. So like as I took this trade, price came lower, and in this scenario, like there is nothing you can do. If price takes you out, it takes you out. So in this scenario, there is like you cannot manage much because of the amount of time you're into this trade. So if the in during this time price takes you out, it just takes you out. So when I took this trade off, it was not the perfect time to close. In this scenario, okay, I had to accept the losses. Okay, I'm in this scenario right now, I cannot do anything, so I just have to accept the loss. So what I did, because of I closed this trade, this end up having a fast loss. If I hadn't, so I would still be like losing half of the money that I had invested, or may possibly be only one losing trade instead of two. So what end up happening, we end up pushing higher. So once I see again we are pushing higher, I took another entry. This is something I got around here, same stop loss, this time even worse RR. and we end up losing 2 consecutive trades. So this scenario was very bad. Okay, like really pretty bad. uh, I had to check out the risk to reward. I always should have checked the risk to reward that I was getting, then I should have entered. uh, First one I didn't look, I entered. And second problem end up having that I, when we are already this much down, I shouldn't have closed the position, because this wasn't the time to close the position. You have to understand that when you enter into a trade, there is some certain time that where you have to just go with the acceptance of the loss, that if it takes me out right now, I just have to uh, accept the loss. If it doesn't, then I'll wait to see, manage the trade. Like once price closed above this, now I can manage the trade. Now I can start managing the trade to not lose as much as I have must loss, or maybe something. Okay, but when you enter into this trade, only this much amount of price action is into your hand. If it takes you out in this scenario, you cannot just do nothing, you just have to accept the loss. Okay, you can't close your position, which end up being a very bad, very bad decision for me today. And then the second entry was like even worst RR. So that was another big mistake. And these are the two positioning mistake and this idea. Okay, so here it was like, now I am understanding it very clearly, but back then I was not able to understand it the way I should have understood it right now. But this is an experience, this is an uh, you know this is a knowledge that I got today. This is something that will be with me, right? So by, I was like, it was the thing that if we are not breaking through this fair value gap and respecting it, that mean it doesn't have the divergence, and price will push higher, and eventually the divergence will not be there, and it end up happening. But if it breaks, that means there is divergence, the divergence has formed now, and we have the chance of pushing lower. But I was kinda not understanding that, so it's all right, no problem. These two are a bad decision, absolutely. So few things learned absolutely today, very good learning today, very beautiful. Like first one is this, now I'll be more cautious with this kind of thing. Like whenever I'm seeing from now on that there is divergence happening, so I know that this is the fair, this is the level. If this respected, that means the divergence will not be there. Disrespected, the divergence has formed. Today I got even more clear idea and live example. Second, from now on, whenever I'm taking a position, the first thing that I would look to see is to look how much I'm getting on that. Okay, first thing is, yeah, like whenever we are about to take a position, we just know, okay, this is where we might form. So my idea has to be, okay, whenever I'm seeing, okay, that we are coming and kind of respecting, I always need to see like how much RR I'm getting. Okay, instantly. So whenever I'm seeing, okay, there is not much RR, so I would definitely not take this trade. So my first priority before taking a trade is to see how much RR I'm getting. And this scenario, I'm pretty upset with this scenario, exactly. Like it just happened in front of my eyes, my model and everything formed, but I was not able to, I didn't took it. I, like, it showed me that, okay, it's respecting, it's not disrespecting. But I was so much that, okay, there is a divergence up here, but I kind of forget this idea that this was not disrespecting, so there is no divergence at all in the first place, and everything. And there is another thing that was kind of getting me, that if you look at the 15-minute time frame, there is multiple, there is one fair value gap up here, there's one fair value gap up here. So I was also kind of thinking this one as an internal sweep type of thing. Okay, so that's why I waited, that like, okay, let's see if I am uh, getting an respectance of this level or not. So in that perspective, let's say that, okay, there was this there was this fair value gaps and everything, we came respect and displace higher, the model formed that showed the respectance of the 5 minute. So, and in this case this was so I would like to see, okay, in this scenario we respect and displace higher, it's a order block continuation, right? So when I see that, okay, this is the breaker block, we go higher, we came back into that breaker block and we pushed higher, this one turned into a, you can call it a proportion block, order block, whatever it is, we turn into order block. So I can consider, okay, now I can take the order block entry. Okay, so I should have entered in here, absolutely. So it would still be a break even trade, but as I took the decision of waiting, as I took the decision of waiting a little bit longer and see if this one getting respected or not, by that time when you actually end up having this push and we are getting that bad RR, I should have just said, okay, I'm getting a bad RR, so this trade might play out, but I would not take it. Coming back to that positioning mistake. So in this scenario, I would say, okay, my idea was not bad, that we are having fair value gaps up here. So let's see that as I'm seeing the 5 minute getting respected against the 15-minute fair value gap. So let's wait and see a continuation entry, because in the 15-minute, as I'm seeing that this displacement came, now this is kind of becoming that 15-minute internal sweep. Okay, first try to understand this, that I am saying that this high is getting taken is the internal sweep, and this is what giving you the 30-second model. So in this scenario, if I see, okay, we are breaking through this level, we'll consider this 15-minute is getting respected and we are getting a shifting structure. So from there it will be a different idea. But if I am seeing, okay, we are coming respecting, okay, in this scenario, the I did a good thing actually, that I waited to see the respectance of this one or not. We came, we respect and we displace higher. From there I decided to took the order block entry. So until here everything is fine, I would say. Here until I waited and everything is very good, but after that what end up putting the problem is, first I should have take the trade out of here, as I've seen the order block is happening. As I waited and price end up displacing so much and I'm getting the bad RR in the market order, I should have skipped it. So I would write down that be, as I would not say the understanding problem. Okay, I would not say the understanding problem. As I waited, let me write it down as well. As I waited to see the OB continuation was a good idea, was very good, because of the 15-minute FBG. But the problem was I should have took I should have taken the direct entry from that OB. As I saw, as I waited for the respectance, that's kinda became the problem with the RR, with the RR. How I should have done it, maybe the respectance that now coming into my mind. Okay, I should have, like, if this like How about let's go even a lower time frame to see we are respecting this order block or not. This is a 1 minute order block. Let's go to 15 second. Let's see what you can find out. So this is a 15-second chart, and like in order to get a precise entry into the market, okay, this is a 1 minute order block. We came back, we end up having this displacement to the upside, okay. So this is really a very big order block, fair value gap. Mm. Let's see if we can seek the delta here. Maybe we can check out. The fuck is wrong with this mouse? Wait a second. What the hell? I'm checking. Okay, let's check out the delta first. हाथ लेके उड़े गया सारा. Let's check out the delta where we were. Check it out. You can find out. So we were kinda okay. We were having a type of divergence. Okay, so we were. If you look at this, we are having divergence. Okay, so I'm not looking to see like absolutely the same thing. I would look here. We came back into the 15 minutes. We came into this 1 minute break order block, so I would definitely look to see the 15 second again. Took the same thing, internal field displacement higher and everything. We end up forming a divergence and we end up having this push. See, all of these getting ran through. Now what that means, divergence has formed. Now as I said that I would take the order block entry, so in order to get a more precise entry, I could have used the 15 second for my entry. Like what? In this scenario, as I can see, so in this big fair, again the same big fair value gap, I don't know what to do. So I let's say a little bit longer and check out that we respect and go higher. Okay, again the same thing, the importance of patience. Big fair value gap would give me fuck with my RR. I wait a bit longer to get more precise entry, so it don't fuck with my RR. We came lower. I'm looking for an order block continuation. Absolutely, we end up having this gap up. We came back and respect that gap and displace higher. So pretty much this is where you take the trade. Open up the 1 minute time frame here, because the Maven, the broker chart, doesn't show the 15 second time frame at all. So this is where it is. So I would take the entry out of this. Okay, so I would take the entry above this 1 minute candle. As this candle closed, I would take the this is inside the what candle we had broke in this. Okay, in this candle we broke through this. In this candle we end up forming our formation. So and I will put my stop below this candle. That means I will take the entry from here and put my stop below this candle. And by this time, and I'll definitely gonna target. Now this time as I'm entering, look, I'm getting a much better target, right? Much better RR. So now as I'm getting a much better RR, as I waited and waited for more precise entry, I'm getting a better RR. So after that, what ended up happening, as we close above this, I immediately look at this. If now this candle came lower and took me out, I have to accept the loss. There is nothing I can do about. There is nothing I can do about if the price comes and takes me out. I just have to accept the loss. But as soon as price close above this high, turning it into an order block, I immediately go complete break even, because I can now. because it doesn't make any sense for price to sweep and come lower. If price sweeps and come lower, that means eventually I'm gonna get stopped out. But here I cannot do something. But when price goes into this level, now I can start managing my stop loss, I can start managing my position. So after that I will immediately go break even, and most probably I would definitely go end up in a break even trade. But I would have a break even, but not two consecutive loss that I end up facing today. Very nice, right? So I was this scenario that I described also didn't came into my mind in that time when I was taking the trade. So again, the whole recap is, when here in this 5-minute fair value gap, I waited to see order block continuation was right. I waited to see the order block continuation was right because of the 15-minute fair value gap. Second, we came into that order block and I took the decision of waiting further. That is not bad, it's okay. But once we end up having this push to the upside, instead of taking the trade, because as I was seeing, as I have seen that it's fucking up with my RR, what I should have done from here, what I should have done is go into a higher lower time frame. As I'm seeing this as respecting and displacing higher, I will go into a lower time frame. I will see my model, as in this case I am seeing the divergence model playing out. I will try to take a more precise entry from the lower time frame. This is what I should have done. So pretty much this is the recap of what I've done wrong and what I have done right and what I should have done. So not bad, not bad. Every day is a learning opportunity, and it seems like I have understood it a little bit deeper. Like it's more like not the model problem, it's more like how you can tweak and how swiftly you can think, right? Like instantly, this should come instantly into your mind. We end up having this big push, this would fuck me up with my RR. Let's go to a lower time frame and see what happens. The more swift decision comes and perfectly, the better you become, right? So yeah, that's all right. Nice trade, no problem. Let's see what happens tomorrow.